Let's talk about the central characters in this story. Obviously, the first one is Kevin McCarthy, and someone described him to me yesterday as a chameleon, and I think that's the perfect way to describe him. Democrats say they can't trust him. The more of the hard right say they can't trust him. That's what led to his ouster. But he does try to appease both sides here when he can. He worked with Democrats to pass the continuing resolution over the weekend. He also worked with some Republicans to announce an impeachment inquiry, tries to, appease both sides. But he did manage to eke out some victories over the past 9 months. First, he managed to win the leadership battle. It was ugly, but he did manage to get that gavel. Most of us thought he wouldn't be able to. He did come out as the winner in the debt ceiling fight back in June, and he did avert a government shutdown. How he got there, depending on your views, some people are for it, some people are against it, but he did manage to avert that. So what's next for Kevin McCarthy? Is he still a member of the House? Can you help us here figure that out?
Well, I think that, him playing chameleon, him playing both sides is ultimately what led to his demise. With the government shutdown, the budget that they just passed over the weekend, for example, shortly after this was passed, in the hours after, when he was speaking to reporters, he told Gates, bring it on, file the motion to vacate. I did the right thing here. I averted a government shutdown. Then the following day, on Sunday, he, went on national TV and blasted Democrats and blamed them for bringing, Congress and the government to the brink of a shutdown. So he really angered both sides. And when Democrats met yesterday and made the decision to vote for his ouster, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries showed them a clip of McCarthy, speaking on TV on Sunday and blaming them for this near shutdown. He was really stuck in a difficult position, backed into a corner with this slim majority in the House. And yes, he is the first speaker to have been, formally ejected from the role, but many speakers before him have resigned, stepped down amid a right-wing revolt, starting with Newt Gingrich and then Paul Ryan, John Boehner. So he was definitely in a very difficult position. And even those legislative victories that you talk about, I know that Jeffries yesterday raised the National Defense Authorization Act that the House passed, and it was packed with a lot of culture war issues and policy changes to the Defense Department that hard right Republicans wanted to see. And this is another thing that really angered Democrats. And in each deal that he has made, both sides have felt like he has gone back on the promises that he's made, both sides, meaning the Democrats and the hard right. So yes, McCarthy is still a member of Congress, and it'll be very interesting to see. The House is in recess for the next week. Lawmakers have returned to their districts, so it'll be very interesting to see what he has to say when they return to the Hill on Tuesday. Other speakers, Boehner immediately resigned from Congress, almost immediately when he stepped down from the speakership. Paul Ryan chose not to run for re-election. So the fate of McCarthy's political career is certainly in limbo.
Matt Gaetz was the one who led this charge. But can we talk about how those Republicans who did defect, there were 8 in total, what persuaded them to do so?
I think that a lot of them they align with the hard right as is. Some of them were among the 20 who voted against McCarthy in his speaker election in January. I know that Nancy Mace, Republican from North Carolina, gave a bit of a different reason. She wanted McCarthy to expand access to birth control, bring legislation to do that, and he did not. So, I think this was an ideological play, and that they're really just trying to say to their base that we are, still committed to these far right principles, and we are going to hold whoever is in power to account, no matter what the consequences are.